Clara woke up gasping for breath, her heart pounding against her chest. The rain hammered against the windows, dragging her back to a night she'd tried to forget for years. That night, as a frightened young woman, she made the worst mistake of her life. She could still hear the faint cries of the baby she'd left by the roadside, the child she was too scared to keep. The memory haunted her, surfacing when she least expected it, especially as she thought about her childless marriage. Clara had married Daniel, a wealthy businessman, and together they lived in a luxurious house filled with every comfort imaginable. Yet, the absence of children left a hollow ache in their lives, a void no amount of wealth could fill. They had tried everything: fertility treatments, prayers, even a failed adoption attempt, but nothing worked. Clara knew Daniel was growing weary of their silent struggle, but she never told him about the baby she had abandoned. It was her secret, a painful piece of her past she couldn't bring herself to reveal. On the other side of town, Amelia was living a life Clara couldn't have imagined for her daughter. Linda, the woman who had adopted Amelia after finding her abandoned by the roadside, was a hardened prostitute who saw life as a constant fight for survival. She raised Amelia to be tough, teaching her early on that the world was harsh and unforgiving. Amelia grew up learning to use her beauty and charm as tools to get what she wanted. By her 20s, she was dating married men, extracting money, gifts, and promises she knew would never be kept. She wasn't looking for love, only control. When she met Daniel, he was just another wealthy man she could manipulate. Nothing more, nothing less. For Daniel, though, what started as a fling quickly became an affair he knew was wrong but couldn't resist. Amelia made him feel alive in a way Clara no longer did, and he began spending more and more time with her, leaving his wife to wonder where their love had gone. Clara, still haunted by her past and the loss of the child she had abandoned, had already hired a private investigator months ago to try and locate her daughter. She couldn't forget the baby, and the ache in her heart never left. Every small step she took in her life felt like a reminder of what she had lost. She hoped that finding her daughter might ease some of that pain, even if it meant reopening old wounds. Then came the day she noticed Daniel acting strange. His absences grew more frequent. One evening, Clara followed him after he left home. She tailed his car to a modest apartment building and watched as he disappeared inside. Nearly an hour later, Clara saw Daniel emerge, arm in arm with a visibly pregnant young woman. Her blood ran cold. This was more than just an affair. Daniel was starting a new family, and Clara was on the outside looking in. That night, Clara confronted Daniel. At first, he denied everything, but when she described what she had seen, he broke down and confessed. He admitted to the affair and the pregnancy. Clara's heart shattered as she realized the man she had built her life with was planning a future without her. The very next day, Clara received the response from the private investigator she had hired. When she opened the letter, her heart skipped a beat. The investigator had found someone who matched the description of the child Clara had abandoned years ago. The investigator had sent her a few photos, and as Clara looked through them, her hands began to tremble. The woman in the picture, young and unmistakably familiar, was the same girl she had seen with Daniel the night before. It was Amelia, her daughter. Clara's mind raced as the pieces of the puzzle fell into place. This wasn't just an affair. Daniel had unknowingly fathered a child with Clara's own daughter. She knew it in her gut, and the realization hit her like a tidal wave. Her past had come back to haunt her in the most unexpected and painful way. Clara couldn't hold back anymore. She rushed to Daniel, tears welling in her eyes, and confessed, "Amelia is my daughter, Daniel, the baby I abandoned years ago," and she went on to confess everything to him. Daniel was stunned. He had always loved Clara and had never considered cheating on her before. Amelia had started as just a fling, a temporary escape from his marriage, until she got pregnant. He had never imagined the affair would lead to something this complicated. His first betrayal, and now it had come full circle in the most heart-wrenching way. Clara's world fell apart. Not only had she lost her husband to her own daughter, but she was also forced to face the consequences of her past actions. Amelia, hardened by the life she had been forced to live, embodied the pain and bitterness born from Clara's decision all those years ago. Determined to make amends, Clara reached out to Amelia, hoping to explain and connect. But Amelia was not interested in reconciliation. To her, Clara was nothing more than a ghost from a past she wanted to forget. "You think you can just show up and fix everything?" Amelia lashed out when Clara finally managed to speak to her. "You left me. You don't get to play the victim now." Clara wept, pleading, "I was scared and young. I thought I was doing what was best for you, but I was wrong. Please give me a chance to make it right." Amelia's response was cold. "You don't get a second chance with me." Despite Amelia's resistance, Clara refused to give up. Slowly, she chipped away at Amelia's defenses, proving her sincerity through her actions. Then, one day, during a visit to Amelia's apartment, things took an unexpected turn. Amelia went into labor, and Clara rushed her to the hospital, doing everything she could to ensure Amelia was cared for. As Clara supported her, Amelia's heart began to soften. For the first time, she saw how deeply Clara cared for her, how genuine her concern was. After holding her baby for the first time, Amelia's mind began to shift. She realized she wanted to be a better person for her child. "I want my daughter to be proud of me," she whispered, her voice full of uncertainty. "I want to go to school. I want to change my life." Amelia looked at Clara, her expression less hardened. "Can you take care of her for now? I need time to fix my life. I want her to have a better chance than I did." Clara agreed without hesitation, pouring her love and energy into raising her granddaughter. Meanwhile, Amelia enrolled in school, determined to build a brighter future. Clara and Amelia began to rebuild their relationship, though it was slow and fragile, marked by moments of understanding and setbacks of anger. Daniel, overwhelmed with guilt, tried to repair his marriage with Clara. He admitted his mistakes, promising to earn back her trust. While their road to reconciliation was long and uncertain, they began taking small steps toward healing. In the end, the scars of the past remained, but they no longer defined their future. Clara, Daniel, Amelia, and the baby found a way to coexist, bound by the complexities of love, loss, and redemption. Through determination and forgiveness, they began rewriting the story of their broken family, one day at a time.